Hello everyone and welcome to Mr. RetroActive's Corner. Good to have you guys with us. And today we'll be reviewing The Nanny. Never thought I'd ever get to review that show. But luckily enough, I'm not alone here on this one. Today we're here with PhoenixFire.
In the words of CC Babcock, hello, hello.
Alright. Now when it comes down to shows, I know a lot of you guys are wondering, how is the show thing going to actually work out? Well, I can see where some people are coming from with that particular question. And it's actually very interesting. I know a few people have been asking me how we're going to review this if it doesn't follow the same rules as movies. Well, to a certain extent, I think we're only going to do maybe Season 1 for now. So that way we at least get to show you guys what we're going to be doing for each season. We'll be reviewing each season from the start to finish. Or we do another do maybe like the first 3 seasons of a series, or it depends if it only has one, we'll just do that one. I'm trying to find out where the heck is my... God bless it. Where the heck did I put it?
Raga is not joining us tonight?
Unfortunately, no. He's watching his grandmother today. She just got out of the hospital.
Okay.
So he will not be joining us. But hey, we may do multiple episodes of this, so...
He said he wanted to be part of it and was wondering...
Oh yeah, it's, But yeah, hang on for just a second. I'm trying to... God bless it, where is it? Oh, that's not here. That's what I have to do. There we go. Alright. So I just got my sheet here, ready to go. Alright, but yeah, we're going to be doing this by season, folks. So we'll be doing seasons 1 and 2 on the channel, and we're just going to go for general description. Then we may start doing seasons 3, 4, and maybe 5 if we have enough time next Saturday, and we'll be reviewing all the seasons in this 1 month to celebrate Pride Month in a way. So, alright, so, are you ready, Phoenix?
Of course.
Alright, now, let me just do this here. Oops. Alright, so when it comes down to shows like this, since it's mainly based in comedy, we thought maybe we'll add comedy as the atmosphere selection of choice. So instead of it being atmosphere, we're going to make it, of course, comedy. That way it would make more sense, especially since this is a sitcom. So, PhoenixFire. What do you think your score is going to be for season 1?
That's a good question. I say about 40.
40? Alright, 40. I'm definitely going to say 40 as well. And again, we're mainly talking about season 1. And then we're going to do one for season 2.
Okay.
Let me just do this here. There we go. So who knows? Maybe if maybe next Saturday he'll be able to join us and he'll be able to do his scores. And you know what? Since it's you and me, we're gonna do season 3 as well.
Why not?
How many seasons did the show have anyway?
6.
Alright, so he'll be here for the second part of it then. Alright, so I guess we don't have to worry about it. I thought we had like I thought we had around like 9 seasons, but I guess not. Alright, so just do this. Let me just finish off this little chart here. There we go. Alright, so let's start off with story. Since you've watched it more than I have, how about you get us started with the story?
Alrighty. Where do we begin? We start off with a lovely bridal consultant wanting to find that fulfillment. Sadly, fate takes a twisted hand, and her boyfriend no longer wants to be with her, and she's kicked out on one of those crushing scenes. So, what's our beloved heroine supposed to do? So, while looking for work, she becomes a lovely cosmetic girl, and she happens to be at the right time at the right place of the Sheffields.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, they don't think she's what they're looking for in a nanny, but then somehow they warm up to her, and then our story begins of the misadventures of Miss Fran Fine.
I have to admit, though, for a story like this is usually this is like a usual sitcom scenario. Sometimes you see this happen a lot, especially during the 80s and 90s. I've noticed that they really did that a lot during those 2 decades. So, for original starting point of the story, it is not too original. But the rest of the show pretty much is. But for what it's worth, it is absolutely insane. Some of the stuff they unfortunately go through in their show, which makes you wonder: were they really intelligent to begin with to allow her to be a nanny? But hey, she makes it work. What about you though? What about your thoughts on the story?
I thought it was an interesting take. Honestly, like, not many back in the day, you didn't see too many shows with the female lead as a bridal shop consultant, and
That's
who
true.
thought she'd become a nanny of all things to the rich and fancy.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, that was a nice little take for a story. Plus,
True.
Working middle class girl ends up finding a dream job taking care of kids of a rich man. Like, wow.
True. So for what it's worth, it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, big time. Like, it's something we didn't really thought we'd see.
Very true. So what would you give the score for story for this show?
9.
9? Yeah. I feel like that's right number for me too, but I'm actually going to go with 8. But mainly because that some of the comedic hits of the show, yes, are pretty much standard for any sitcom, but luckily enough, there are not too many of those. Most of it is very unique humor, and honestly, I love all of it, but there were a few jokes within the first season that did feel a little too familiar. But nothing that I couldn't handle with the story overall. The story overall was still very good for what it was worth. Alright, so now we're going on to characters, and okay, we're really going to go into this one because there's a lot of actors and actresses that did really well on this show. There's Charles, I think it's Charles Shaughnessy, right?
Shaughnessy.
Shaughnessy, thank you.
Charles Shaughnessy.
Yeah, I think that's how you say his name. There's Lauren Lane. There's of course, there's the main actress herself, Fran Drescher. There's Nicole Tom, Benjamin Salisbury. There's Daniel Davis. There's a lot of interesting people and names in this show. It's actually kind of awesome. Who was your favorite character overall?
Oh, I'll be honest, that's a really hard one because it's like all the characters are so hilarious. But if it comes down to it's a tie for number 1, and that's between Niles and Cece.
Ah, that makes sense. Actually, I found out something pretty interesting. Did you know that James Marsden was in this show?
he was just in it for 2 episodes. No, wait, correction, 3 episodes.
Yeah, he was. I think the character from what I remember was Eddie.
Yes, he played a busboy that fell in love with one of the older daughter. Lauren Tom. Maggie.
That makes
Maggie
sense.
Sheffield.
Also, apparently Ray Charles was in there.
Yeah, that's way later on in the show.
Yeah, so we'll have to skip him for this case, because if it were my choice, Ray Charles would have been number 1. Then there was also Dan Aykroyd. There's Pamela Anderson. There was a lot of huge names back then for this one.
There were a lot of cameos and guest appearances.
Oh, yeah. And I thought that Frasier had a good amount of them, but good lord. This one had a good amount of them, too. Which, yes, if you're wondering, we will do Frasier eventually. But, yeah, there's a lot to unpack with Frasier. At least, there's not as much with The Nanny, thank God. But...
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, honestly though, what would you give characters? I'm willing to give it a 10 personally, because they had not only did they have a really great cast, but they had a lot of amazing guest stars. Like, freaking hell, they got Elton John in there too.
Oh yeah, I give it a 10 as well.
Yeah. When it comes to characters...
One of the things that a lot of people, besides the, obviously, Fran and Maxwell, aren't they,
Mm-hmm.
relationship, everyone tuned in just to see Niles and Cece insult each other.
That is true. That was actually my favorite part of the series.
Iconic. That was one of the most iconic moments in the whole show to watch from beginning to end, was him picking on her picking on him for something.
Yeah, honestly, it almost kind of reminds me of, damn it, I'm trying to remember. Like how Niles and Frasier used to argue with each other.
Oh yeah, when they used to go to their favorite coffee shop and have their coffees and
basically insult the hell out of each other.
Little bickering.
Yep. Alright, so now we're gonna go on to music. And luckily enough, I actually do know the person that actually did the composing for this show. His name was Timothy Thompson. And Timothy Thompson,
I wouldn't really say there was...
Huh?
In my opinion, I wouldn't say there was really too much music in The Nanny, honestly. Only when they had certain guest stars that actually had to do with Broadway or musical theater. That
is true. Don't get me wrong, that there was a lot of it for this series, honestly, because there was actually from what I remember, there were a few composers for this show, but Timothy Thompson was one of them, and I believe the other one was... Anne Hampton Callaway. She was the one who made the theme music.
The iconic tune.
Yep, the iconic tune. She made the official theme of the Nanny show. And honestly, it's a really good one, guys. I'm not even joking. It's actually really good.
It's, I think, before we had the iconic theme we have now, they actually had a Broadway tune as the original theme song to The Nanny.
Yeah, luckily enough that, thank God Callaway was the one who created the theme song, because she made it sound like a Broadway show, basically. And you rarely get those types of composers that can make that type of feel.
And the original theme song they had, If My Friends Can See Me Now, by Gwen Verdon, from the Broadway play Sweet Charity. Mm-hmm. It also would have been interesting to have that as the theme too, because it did describe Fran from being what she was and basically getting that job with the Sheffields. That it basically described how she got elevated social standing, you could say, in some aspects.
True. So, what would you give the score for music?
Let's say about 9.
9? Yeah, I'm actually gonna go one above you. I'm actually gonna go give it a 10, because I honestly thought the music was really good in the show. But yeah, I can definitely see what he's talking about, folks. How there was a little too much music, but again, you only notice that type of stuff during whenever there's guest stars. Usually, when it's just them, they try to keep the music to a minimum.
And also, we're going to touch upon the music because if they were doing one of the Broadway shows and they had to incorporate it into that episode for the week.
That's true. So it definitely makes sense to say the least on that one. All right, now we're going to talk about the design of the show, and honestly, the look of it. All right, I am going to straight up say it. This, oh man, how do I explain this? Would it really hurt me to say that I actually think that this seems like a bland look for a show?
Yes and no.
The only reason why is that I've already seen that rich family home scene in, well, what do you think? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And I watched that show first before I watched The Nanny. So I didn't think that the scenery looked that, interesting. It just looked, just normal for those shows. So, honestly, it was a little underwhelming. I'm not entirely saying that the sets weren't bad or anything. It's just, it's stuff I've already seen before. You get what I mean?
Yeah. And you gotta admit, if you look at the sets in the first episode, or the pilot, and then after that, when they got more money for the budget to revamp, like, you could really see the jump they did in the aesthetics for that.
That is true, yeah. They really did up their game once they got the budget they needed for the show. So, I'm not entirely saying that it's entirely bad. Like I said, the sets are amazing. Don't get me wrong. It's just I don't think it's something that really catches my eye. It just seems normal to me. But again, that also might just be me, though. I know some of my friends who would absolutely say and would literally be harping on me to death, saying that the actual sets were pretty damn awesome. The clothes were all unique for every episode. So I'm like, yeah, I get that, but that's the only unique thing about it. The rest of the sets just look like something that you would see in, well, like I said, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But again, that's the reason why I'm not going to dock it too many points. Because, like I said, the places they go to are all still pretty interesting. And not to mention and yes, I'm going to mention this before my friends freak out. Yes, the clothing line that they have in the series is all pretty damn awesome. They did a really good job. And not to mention, it was one of the few shows I know of where their wardrobe actually was a character in of itself, in a way.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, what would you give for design overall?
I'd give it about a 10.
A 10? Yeah, this is where I'm going to give it an 8. But, like I said, that's not too many points. It's still good. It's just that there are a couple of things that unfortunately just, I don't know, just don't hit me as hard as like some other shows have tried in the past. Okay. And now, of course, like I said, because it is a sitcom, we're switching it to comedy. Now, if it was a horror show, I would say the scare factor. So, the comedy. I'm sorry, it's damn hilarious. Even after, over 20 years later, and yet this show still remains to be funny, even to this day. It's actually kind of interesting, honestly. Yeah, because, let me see, I'm trying to remember hold on, give me a second, I'm trying to find the release date of the first episode. Freaking hell! 1993, jeez. Holy crap, wow. Yeah, it was made in November 3rd, 1993, and I was born August 6th of 1993. I'm older than this show.
I was only 2 years old at the time.
Yeah, it looks like the show ended in 1999, June 23rd.
And yet, it's still iconic.
Very true. And the comedy definitely sees it. Now, this is where I believe that the show is completely saved, because the comedy is still good even years later. But And of course, yeah, when it comes down to it, what do you think of the comedy of this show?
It's perfect. Even though times have changed since the 90s, it's like, it still feels like it was something set in the modern day.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe with not all the fancy technology we have now, but
oh yeah, of course.
still, some of the things they touch on is like that affects modern day life if you look at it.
True. And I know that most shows normally stick to their time period, and the reason why you don't ever see a reunion show or whatever is because that they'd rather stick with it being in that time period and just not change a thing. It's the reason why that some shows like, I'm trying to remember, like Will and Grace didn't do so well because, like I said, that they were basically trying to go back to the formula they were so used to. Unfortunately, it doesn't hit as hard as it did back then. But luckily enough, I think if the show did somehow make a return, I think it'd be okay. I don't know if it would be able to survive, but yeah.
It did return in a way.
It did?
Not technically on it as a TV show, but it kind of technically did. It's coming back as a Broadway show. It actually is coming back.
Okay, so the Broadway show is still going, yeah. I could see it working in the broad show setting, in my personal opinion.
Because apparently it's set after season 6 and all that. And apparently certain things that they said in the series finale and all that.
Okay.
They try to do it differently. So, like, not to spoil it for people, but something about Maxwell missing New York. He doesn't like California, so he doesn't want to be a TV producer anymore. He wants to go back to doing Broadway.
Okay.
And they moved back to New York because of it.
Okay. Alright, what do you think of the comedy overall? What would you say your score would be for the comedy?
10.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm with you on that one. Personally, it's a 10 for me.
Because most of the comedy, besides Fran's misadventures and all that, but again, it goes back to the bickering of Niles and Cece. Everyone wanted to see them fight.
True. Alright, and
it's like that's how I got introduced to sarcasm.
I actually didn't understand sarcasm that much when I was younger. Luckily enough, now that I've gotten older, they did a really good job on that. Okay, so both of our original scores were 40, but yours rose up to 48 and mine rose up to 46. So, as you can tell, the first season did a fantastic job. Oh, and also, I know I got another question for this before the show started. Am I ever going to review anime series like One Piece or possibly SpongeBob SquarePants cartoon show? No. And there's a few reasons why. One, because they're still going, and two, it would take an entire year to sift through every single season. I'm not joking when I say that. And don't even get me started on some of the on the longest running anime show of all time. That one I already know for certain I'm never doing until that show stops. Which possibly will be never, considering how long that it's been going. But
that's all I'm saying. Between Gundam and One Piece, I don't know what's too long and, well, I guess you could say somewhat polluted, because sometimes it seems like the story is never ending.
Unfortunately, yeah. When it comes down to shows like that,
you want to hit your head on the wall.
It's like, seriously, why won't this series die? Almost kind of reminds me of Call of Duty, but at least with those games, they're all individual games. That, if you want to go continuity, sure, but most of the time they don't really usually do that. So, that's the reason why I was always fine with doing video game reviews, especially when I do sequels afterwards, because I know that at some point the series is going to end eventually. But, by God, when it comes down to shows like those, you are never going to be able to get me to review them, because, first of all, it would take way too damn long, and two, I don't know when they're going to end. And that's the sad part. I really don't know when the series will ever truly end. So, if you guys are One Piece fans or SpongeBob fans, I'm sorry. Until those shows... Yeah, but sorry. But basically, for those of you who guys are big One Piece fans or big SpongeBob fans, until I can see that a series is pretty much done, I'm never going to review them. It's the reason why I'm going to review eventually. What?
It's like asking to review The Simpsons.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, The Simpsons. I'm never reviewing that because I already know it's gonna take me way too damn long. One, and two, it's still going. Until any of those series are officially done, I will never review them. I'll review the games. Don't get me wrong, I'll review the games. I'll even review the movie. Just don't expect me to review the show, even though I would really love to review The Simpsons. It's a show I grew up with as a kid, so yeah, of course I would go all out in reviewing them, but until the series is done, I don't see that happening. What?
You know, it'd be a good one for you to review Family Guy, because it technically did get canceled back in the day, and you could do the original Family Guy before it got renewed and brought back from cancellation.
That is true. I could do that, but however, according to them, it's still part of the series, so unfortunately, no. So yeah, basically shows like American Dad, Family Guy. Unfortunately, I can't review those. They're still going. But however, there are shows like Gravity Falls. I'm hoping to review one of these days. Another one being Adventure Time, regular show. There's a lot of shows that a lot of people have recommended and asked me to review, and a lot of them have finished officially, so I can honestly say I can now go on and do those shows now, finally. And, however, and I know a lot of you guys are wondering, will I review the Rugrats? And this is before we continue on to Season 2 of Nanny. Yes and no. Yes, as a matter of fact, I will review the original series that started in 91, but I won't review the new one, because that one is still going, from what I've heard. I don't know if it's still going.
Yeah, and it got renewed for another season.
Oh, it did? Okay, so I'm not going to be reviewing the new one for a while, so... But if you guys are wondering, yes, I will review the original series. I won't go for the revamp one, okay? I'll wait until that one's officially finished. So, now that we've gotten that out of the way, and yes, I will be answering questions that are specifically from that, but I just wanted to let you guys know that the series that are still going on right now will not be reviewed until their series are done. Just to let you guys know. Alright. Now that I've finally gotten that little PSA out of the way, it's time for us to continue on to Season 2. And what would you give the review for Season 2? What would be your score?
I guess I would say about 40.
So you're going to stick with 40?
Yeah.
I'm actually going to give it a 42. I actually think that Season 2 did better than Season 1 in my personal opinion. Alright, so, I know a lot of you guys are wondering if we're going to give you guys spoilers on this show itself. We're not going to give you too many spoilers. We are going to mention at least some parts, but not a lot of it that would really completely spoil the whole series for you. I feel like that if you want to experience it yourself, definitely check out this series when you can. As you guys heard from our scores from the first season, trust me, that's saying a lot. So what happened during Season 2, my friend? Since you have more experience with the show, and I just recently got back into watching the series again, what would you, do you remember Season 2 at all, and what happened during that time?
Well, see, Cece got more desperate, Niles became more savage,
Oof.
Fran's wardrobe got a bit more flashier, Maxwell got more frustrated with Fran, and you got to see more evolution into children than last. They really were starting to come out of their shell more than they did in Season 1. They weren't as, well, I guess you could say, restrictive. They actually finally got to be children somewhat.
That's true. I have to admit, though, when it comes down to the story, overall, you could definitely tell that they did get some character development in Season 1, and it really does show up in Season 2, and I think that is a sign of a good series when you know that the characters have grown and are learning from the last time you saw them. And honestly, that's actually a really good one. Even if, yes, I know it's still a sitcom and all that, but to see them grow is still pretty awesome to see. What are your favorite story moments, favorite episodes of Season 2?
Oh, let's see. Man, I really have to think. There were quite a few ones.
That's the reason why I let you have multiple choices, man.
Because there's so many. It's like, where can you begin? Like, really?
True.
I think, not a complete friendship, like, not really enemies either, but somewhat. Now, Cece and Fran getting along, kind of. Because, yes, Cece still thought Fran was a threat in her conquest of Maxwell, but they had their odd moment here and there where they got along somewhat.
Yeah, when it comes down to... Yeah?
The tension between Maxwell and Fran, like, again, it's like, is he going to ask her out? Is she going to say yes? So that's another thing, too.
Yeah, when it comes down to the enemy dynamic, luckily enough, the 90s did a more... I'm really glad the 90s did this more comedic route where you had the enemies trying to work together towards something. And you already know they're going to get back to hating each other later, but still. Almost reminds me of how Tom and Jerry would sometimes work together to take down somebody even bigger than they are. Let me see. I have to admit, though, yeah, I gotta be honest, though, the story, that it definitely feels like that you just came off of Season 1, and when shows do that, that's a sign that a show is at least trying to be competent. It's trying to let people know that, yeah, these characters are trying to, they're trying to get along, they're trying to do stuff, you know, they're trying to at least make things work. But at the same time, you know they're still going to be trying to kill each other. Especially Niles and Cece. You already know those two are never going to stop arguing.
That's why they're so iconic.
Very true. What would you give for a story then, for a score of 1 to 10?
9.
9? I'm going to go with the 9 as well, because last time I said it was an 8. Luckily enough, 9... It definitely deserves a 9 here. And then, of course, we got characters. Like we said before, a lot of the characters that we know of are still here. Not going to change anytime soon. But yeah, we actually have a really interesting group of characters for that one. I believe, yeah, but there was a lot of interesting characters, like Dorothy Lyman was in there, along with Morty Drescher. There was a lot of interesting actors for this one.
It's funny how her parents in real life actually did quite a few cameos as relatives as her characters, but yet they were really her family in real life.
That's true. I even heard that Roseanne was also in there, too.
Yeah, she does a cameo, I think.
Yeah, that was definitely a weird episode. It was good, don't get me wrong. It was just really strange to see Roseanne in the same scene as Fran. I'm like, what? But yeah, overall though, we're still going to stick with a 10. Hey, Phoenix?
Yeah.
Oh, I was wondering, did you lose contact or something?
I'm drinking because I nearly choked.
Oh, whoops.
My fault. Ice cold lemonade going down the wrong way.
Oh,
lemon rinds.
Oh yeah, I definitely have done that before. So are we still gonna go with? Are you okay?
9.
So characters, you're gonna make a 9.
I'm go another one. Characters 9.
Characters 9.
They really didn't introduce too many new ones. Maybe just a couple, but it's still the iconic cast from season 1.
Yeah, I'm with you. Season 2 didn't actually expand too much. They just mainly kept to the core group, honestly. Which is not a bad thing, don't get me wrong. It's the reason why I gave it a 9. It's always good to stick with the core group, but the reason why these sitcoms have done so well is because of all the guest stars. Look at Frasier. They had Bill Paxton, freaking Reba. They had a lot of amazing actors and actresses and singers, and all of them just show up on his radio show as guest stars. So it's pretty interesting. So it definitely makes you wonder.
Simpsons too.
Yeah,
even the Simpsons, all the guest stars they've had in the past 33 years.
Oh yeah, they had the Mythbusters. They had Stephen Hawking. They had, good lord, they had so many freaking people on that show.
Simpsons have had too many celebrities. I can't keep up with them.
Yeah, let's just say that it would take us forever to try to name as many as we can. Because good lord.
I think the weirdest one would be Lady Gaga. That was one of the weirdest ones.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually with him on that one. It's kind of strange to have her in the show.
Like, I met Marge kissing Lady Gaga out of a random spur of the moment. Like, okay, it's not the Trails of Horror. This is actually a canon episode. It's like, damn.
Okay. But yeah, that's the reason why that I'm fine with shows that don't do too much on the cameos. Unless you're a long-running series like The Simpsons. They get the excuse to have that many guest stars. But
it makes sense to get, I guess, a lot of guest stars if the show's kind of, I guess you could say, sinking, and you want it to get the ratings again.
Yeah, like, another excuse would be Saturday Night Live. You expect guest stars to appear on that show every episode. Makes sense, though, right? Considering that they basically are a comedy show, live comedy show in front of a live audience. It makes sense, right?
Oh, yeah. And plus, you see with Saturday Night Live, it's like, look how sometimes certain celebrities, you don't think they're going to do a cameo, and then the surprise moment that they actually do it, like, you didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
A good example, the Mike Myers sketch with Madonna and Roseanne, Coffee Talk. They're talking about Barbra Streisand, and they keep going on and on about Barbra Streisand. And at the time they were taping it, Barbara was watching it live, and she decided to pop over from the concert she was doing into Saturday Night Live studio, and she surprised them.
Oh, yeah.
That was a genuine surprise reaction, because they had no idea that was going to happen.
Yeah.
It's like that's what we call a really good unscripted celebrity moment.
Very true, very true. Okay, so we're now going on to music. And like I said, there's still the same composers as before. Timothy Thompson's still doing this music for this one. And same goes with, of course, with Anne Calloway, still doing the theme song. Nothing's changed overall with that. So, what would you still give it a 9, honestly?
Yeah, pretty much, because there's not that much difference in music, I find.
Yeah, in this case, I'm also going to give it a 9. Like I said, if you would, because they basically use the same music for pretty much the entire season 1 and 2. I think it was, season 4. I even think season 3 is the same. I think it was season 4, 5, and 6 that they actually tried to change the music up a bit.
Yeah, I think so too.
So yeah, in all honesty, so the reason why I give it a 10 for the first season is because, again, if you're seeing it for the first time, the music's really good, but then as soon as you get into season 2 and 3, you start to hear the same things over and over again. So that's the reason why I lowered my score this time. What would you say about the design of the?
I give it about another 9.
You gonna give it another 9 already? That was quick.
Because not much has changed, really. Maybe we got to see the odd set difference here, maybe another one there, but there wasn't really that much change.
Yeah, this is actually where I am going to drop my score to a 7, because they really didn't change all that much, and I was thinking, Why not go to another location? Like, go to freaking Central Park or something, or I don't know, something. But no, they use the same sets that they did for the first season. I'm like, come on, people. That's where I was a little bit disappointed about season from the first 3 seasons. It's the next 3 seasons that they really started exploring more and really trying to give something more unique instead of what we got with seasons 1 through 3. Alright, and so we basically just left that alone. Now we're going on to comedy. Do you think the comedy improved in season 2, or do you think that it kind of stayed the same?
Oh yeah, it improved.
Yeah.
Since they've got to know each other's strengths and weaknesses, they really knew what they were doing when they were in the writers' room. They really picked up.
Yeah, I'm with PhoenixFire on this one, guys. The comedy it was on par for all the seasons, and they really did improve upon it from the first season. So, in all honesty, I'm already going to give it a 10.
I give it 10 because they didn't have to use too much sex or risque humor just to make a joke. They just had to say something, play on each other's words, and make it funny.
True enough. Alright, so, our total scores. Phoenix, yours started at 40 and now is at 46. Mine was 42 and ended up as a 44. So I was actually pretty close. But yeah, honestly though, yeah, season 2 was not as impressive as I thought it was going to be, but it was still a good show. The comedy is what kept me going for it. I think was the strongest point of the show.
Again, I just kept coming back for analysis. CC. I wanted to see, is she going to finally snap and lose it?
Oh Lord. That was
the way he used to pick on her is like, that would make anyone mentally break. That would cause anyone to lose their sanity.
Ooh, yeah, I'm with him on this one. All right, next we have season 3, and this is actually where we're gonna end at least the review on, and because there's a lot of people have been asking me a lot of questions for this one. So, with that said, what do you think your score is gonna be for season 3?
I'll stay another 40.
You gonna stay with a 40? I'm gonna go 41. Actually, hold on. You know, actually, I think with the time we have, I think we could do the entire series.
That's up to you.
Well, if we have enough time, I say we go for it. Alright, so we'll start off with story, and was there really much of a change? Because I don't remember it being that way. Oh, so there was. Okay, so I must have missed something.
Yeah.
So what was the story? What were the story changes from the last season? I'm sorry, from this season.
Well, it wasn't towards the end of the season, but Maxwell and Fran it's like they had so many close encounters, you can say, and it's like it wasn't towards the end of the season where they thought they were going to be in a plane crash, and they both finally came out and admitted they loved each other, which led into the next season. It's like, or like they called it the thing, like Maxwell taking it back, saying it, taking it back.
Mm-hmm.
Like he didn't know what he wanted, and yet Frank kept holding it over him. And it's just like, it was so beautiful. And the sad part is, Niles and Cece kept trying to figure out what the thing was. They were dying to know what it was, and every chance they had a chance to learn what it was, something happened, and they never found out what the thing was.
Okay, so that's what I missed. Okay, I may have to change my score then. But yeah, that actually sounds... Wow, I don't know how I missed that. That is weird. Again, I haven't seen the show since I was a kid, so it's understandable I wouldn't necessarily remember all that easily. I just started rewatching the series, and I actually had to speed through season 3, sadly, when I was trying to watch it, so my bad. But, yeah, now that I heard the description from him, I can honestly say that definitely changed my opinion of the story. So, what were your favorite episodes of season 3?
Well, I think I said the season finale. Like, say, when they both admit they love each other, they thought they were gonna die. Well, Maggie's sweet 16th birthday, where she wants to have it at a disco, and it results into an ugly food fight, because that's one of Cece's most iconic looks for, is when she's got all this cake over her. The reintroduction, I think, if I remember right, Maxwell's sister came back.
Well, that's cool.
There. And that's like, and let's see. Also, one of the most iconic for Niles and Cece is when Maxwell and Fred are out for, well, not a date, but they're out together, and Cece comes to the house thinking they're going to work, and Niles sneaks into the office. He turns the lights down really low, and it's like he goes up right behind Cece, and she doesn't know it's Niles, and he literally gets her to cluck like a chicken.
Ah.
And it's like, and according to Niles, like he says, it turns them on, and Cece, thinking it's Maxwell, she's doing it, and then the surprise is when she finds out it's Niles and Maxwell. Like, she's like, you think she was a chicken, the way she squawked.
Oh, wow.
And then towards the end of the episode, just as Maxwell and Fran are getting in, you see Niles and Cece kissing. Like, well, you can tell there's a love there, not all hate.
Mm-hmm.
You just wanted to give a round of applause.
Didn't they go right back to arguing afterwards?
Yeah, they went back to their bickering.
That's what I thought. Knew that wasn't going to last long. Alright, so overall, what would you say the story is for the Nanny Season 3?
9.
A 9? Yeah, I'm going to say a 9. I was originally going to give it a 7, folks, or a 6, but after finding out, I kind of... And that was, again, like I said, back when I watched it when I was a kid, I was trying to recollect it, but unfortunately my memory isn't that good. I really got to finish season 3 off, because at this point I didn't even know about the season finale. So, but yeah, honestly, now hearing that, I definitely have to say I have to change my answer on that one. Okay, now we got to go on to characters. Yeah, they really didn't add too many characters in that season too, didn't they?
No, it was. This season was somewhat quiet.
Yeah.
They mostly were relying on guest stars.
Yeah, they weren't relying on guest stars until what, like season 4 or 5, I believe, or was it season 6?
About that. It was about season 5.
Oh, season 5, that makes sense, yeah.
Because I think the only iconic guest star that was in season 3 for the rest of the series was Bill Clinton's brother.
That is true, yeah.
He was their neighbor.
Yeah, what are the odds of that? So, honestly, overall, what do you think the character score is going to be for you? Because they did have a lot of changes in the story, though.
I'd say 10, because they besides the guest stars, they didn't really need to change anything up. We got to stick to the cast we had.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. They really managed to... I'm really glad they stuck with the cast firmly on this one, and yeah, sure, they only have one guest star, but heck, if a show can survive without a guest star, then you already know you're already doing good. The reason why I gave it one less score last time was because that it almost felt like that when they did have guest stars, they almost took away a little too much from the characters themselves. So I'm glad that this one really started focusing on them this time around. Alright, next we gotta go into music.
No change for me.
No change,
Second.
so it's still a 9?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with him on this one. I got to go with a 9 as well. There really wasn't too much of a change, like I said. The music's still good, but yeah, it's still the same thing. Next, of course, is design. And, actually, surprisingly enough, they did change, I think, a couple of things in Season 3, but that was really it. And then it's, like you mentioned, the season finale. But I honestly don't remember them going to too many places at that point, if I remember correctly.
I remember they went to, let's say, Maggie's birthday and all that for 16. We went to the disco.
That's true.
I remember that.
Yeah, I think episode 16 was Where's Fran? I believe that was the only episode where they actually were trying to look for her, even though she was just doing errands.
Yeah, she was just next door.
Yeah, so I'm like, what in the world? And you would think that those guys would have been smart enough to say, hey, maybe she's next door.
Another thing I remember too, I think it was season 3. At one episode, Cece quit because Maxwell wasn't giving her the respect and attention as the business partner should.
Ah.
And she was working for Marvin Hamlish.
Okay.
And you've seen an episode where Fran and Cece had sushi, and Cece's trying to convince Fran to convince Maxwell to take her back.
Okay.
And that's when we seen one of the most infamous sushi episodes on TV.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Where Fran pours the wasabi on and she doesn't know what it is.
Oh, no.
It was like, I remember when you hear her voice so clear and not as nasal, like, wow, is this the same actress that's so nasally in other episodes?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I was like, lady, have you lost your mind? Yeah, because the stuff she used will absolutely clear you of your sinuses. As well, yeah. Let's just say I've had stuff similar to, like, wasabi was actually the first time I actually had wasabi at a sushi place. God, I don't know why I tried that stuff. Even my friends were like saying, "No, don't do it."
Yeah, I'm just call me cheating, but I'm just looking at seeing what guest stars were in this season.
Mm-hmm. But
just seen this. Oh yeah, I forgot. Fran was on Jeopardy, seeing how Alex Trebek was a guest star in an episode.
That's true.
I would have thought Fran had to enter to be on Jeopardy.
I know, right? Alright, so what would you give the score for design in this one?
9.
A 9? Yeah, I'm actually going to give it I'm going to give it an 8 this time because it actually did improve from the last season since they did actually go to more places this time. Because, heck, even with shows like Frasier and Friends, even during the first few seasons, they were always going to new places all over Seattle or all over New York. So it definitely made sense that way. So to finally see them actually exploring more of the area they live in is pretty cool. Now it is time for the comedy. Need I say more?
Nope.
That's what I thought. Because, good lord, the comedy is... Like I said, people, from the moment we started this show, the comedy in The Nanny was incredible. And has been consistent throughout every season. It's amazing how well they did.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Oh, yeah, we actually do have enough time to do the rest of them. So, here we go. I'll write it down right now.
Okay,
Here we go. And don't worry, folks. I'll try to get Rye Guy's scores as well.
And we have to get his opinion on some of these.
Yeah. Once he has enough free time, I'll see if I can try to ask him about it. All right. So for season 4, what would you give the score?
Not the same. 40.
You remained with the 40 score, I've noticed. I'm actually going to go 45 this time, because Season 4 did a really good job, though.
Oh, yeah. They've really stepped up their game.
Mm-hmm. Alright, I'm also going to write down... There's that. Here we go. Alright, so now, oh shoot, actually for once, I actually can't score this one because I did not finish the full series yet.
Oh, then we shouldn't do season 4 onwards. We should.
You think we should just save that?
Yeah, let's let you catch up.
Okay.
It wouldn't be fair if I've seen the whole series so many times and you gotta catch up.
Yeah, I really gotta catch up on that. Actually, you know what? Yeah, sorry guys, we will have to at least end the review for that one, but I'm still gonna stick with my... I do remember some of season 4, but not all of it. I'm only, I think I'm only a quarter into the season 4, so yeah, that's the reason why. So I can't necessarily do a full review of that yet, but don't worry, I will, and yes, I will binge watch the last 3 seasons, I swear. Alright. You know what? Since we're doing that, what would you change about the Nanny series, honestly, if you were to do it? Because we're going to do, we're still going to do the Retro Evolution. What would you change about the show and why? And we're mainly talking about the first 3 seasons.
If anything, maybe I would change Maxwell and his personality a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I get he's the overprotective father, but at the same time, it's like he went above and beyond to being too overprotective. Like, I get Maggie's his firstborn, but at the same time, it's like she's growing up. Like, it's a part of life, dude. You can't rewind the clock or take back time. You have to accept it.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. I think if you would have stopped doing that, it would have been a little easier.
You can't really change Fran because she was perfect.
Yeah, pretty much.
That middle class humor.
Mm-hmm. Oh, also, to let you know on your score, dude, you got a 47 instead of a 40.
Oh, wow.
And I got a 46 instead of a 41.
Big jump.
Yeah. Wow, you've had 2 big jumps in this whole damn review so far for the series. And yes, if you guys are wondering, I will do an average. I will make an average score. So basically, I'll take the highest rate, the highest rating we gave it, and the lowest rating we gave it, and we're gonna, of course, go in the middle and give you guys the average score of this series. So that way, you guys get a chance to know what the full overall score is going to be. So that way, we at least gave you guys our individual season scores. However, you'll find out the overall series and what that score is. Alright, honestly, if I were to change anything, I definitely have to say they gotta go to more locations. They should have went to more locations around New York, and I think it would have been pretty interesting to see how things would have turned out if they were to check out some... Maybe they could check out some of the more unique businesses around New York. I think it would be very fun. But again, that's just me, though. I think they could have used more places to go to. All right.
Yeah, that's true. I was said in New York, like, let's see some more iconic New York locations.
Yeah, exactly. Why not do that? It's like strange. Why would you not do the one thing that makes New York so freaking awesome, and not and barely show it at all? It's weird. I don't get their decision on that. All right. So, we have our questions. Are you guys ready? All right. Here we go. First question. Who is your favorite guest star in the entire series of The Nanny? Well, that's easy. Ray Charles.
That's a good question, actually.
I'm sorry, Ray Charles. Elton John, of course, being second place there for me. I think third place, shoot. Damn it, I don't know why I'm blanking out here, but, maybe Dan Aykroyd?
Oh, that was a good cameo. Frostbusters.
Ooh, that was good.
That.
Yeah, I remember that one.
That's funny because how Fran Drescher and Dan Aykroyd are really good friends in real life, and he agreed to do the cameo for her.
Nice.
That was nice.
That's awesome.
I gotta say, my favorite guest star, if anything, I guess I'd say Elizabeth Taylor.
Oh, Elizabeth Taylor was good, yeah.
Or also, I could also say Joan Collins. She was another good one.
Oh yeah.
Like that Dynasty's parody they did for the Nanny, like it was so spot on and so cheesy, like you were watching an episode of Dynasty.
Ah, that makes sense. Okay, I got another question here. Here it is. Why was the Nanny canceled? Wait, the Nanny was canceled?
Well, yeah, but to make a long story short, towards the end of season 5, CBS pretty much told them, if you want another season of this show, Fran and Max will have to get together, and you gotta put the butler with Cece. And it's like, they were kind of conflicted on that, because the whole dynamic was, are Fran and Maxwell, are they going to get together? Are they not? And that was the dynamic.
Okay.
And the network being pricks, coming down on them, saying, "Oh, if you want another season of the show, they have to be together." Like, really? So they kind of rushed up that relationship so they can be together.
That makes sense.
And then pretty much next season, they just wanted to wrap everything up, and I think it was season 6 that got the lowest ratings of all the whole series, because they're finally together as a couple and all that. And they spoilers, people, Niles and Cece get together, but they kind of finally put them together. But they just wanted to do what the network said to get one more season and to tie up all loose ends and all that.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's what happens sometimes, guys. Sometimes a series can go pretty well, and then, of course, the studio, going against what the writer wants to make, sometimes changes it for the worse. And unfortunately, that happens more times than you think.
I don't think it was right. They had to drop whatever they were originally had planned and just hurry up and bring all these couples all together and be happy.
True enough, yeah.
But not everyone is going to get that happy ever after in a sitcom or a show.
Yeah, unfortunately, when it comes down to it, yeah.
I think that's what killed that 70s show. It's like one of the lead actors wanted to leave and try his luck at being in film.
Yeah, I remember. I was actually looking it up, actually. Yeah, that's what happened.
They split Eric and Donna up, and then look what happens. They brought him back for the final episode so they can get back together, just to please the network and fans.
Like, true, and then of course there are some people who are stuck in their roles in in certain shows. Like, look at Adam West. He unfortunately got stuck as the role as Batman for most of his career, and he unfortunately was contracted to stay that way. And heck, according to... Yeah, because if you guys remember our James Bond review, he actually was supposed to be the original Bond before they switched to Sean Connery. So, that's what happens though sometimes. Sometimes you just... There are a lot of different reasons why some shows get canceled. Even cartoons are no stranger to getting canceled. Look at Sonic Sat AM. That one got canceled after Season 2 left on a cliffhanger. And I know a lot of kids, including myself, who were infuriated. But still, however, they also saw that they still respected the show enough that they decided to continue it as a comic book series, not a full-on cartoon show like it was originally entailed. So, as you all saw from the comics, so at least in some cases, cancellation doesn't mean the show is over. There is still more to talk about if people are willing to keep the show going. Just in other avenues, like the Nanny, for example, is on Broadway.
Married with Children.
Or yeah, Married with Children.
That's coming back as an animated sitcom. They're bringing that back.
Yeah, so like I said, sometimes shows do get a second chance to come back. Other times, it doesn't. It really just depends on the situation. But yeah, the Nanny but basically, PhoenixFire pretty much explained it that sometimes the network unfortunately gets a little too involved with the series, and as a result, ends up ruining a show that could have ended on such a high note.
Another good example too is Family Matters. It's like for the longest time, it's like we all knew Laura was not interested in Urkel, and it was what, season 8?
Yeah.
And the final season, season 9. Mm-hmm. She finally realized that her feelings for him was not just friendship anymore, and that she started to fall for him.
Mm-hmm.
Then they pretty much they kind of screwed us all over by them getting engaged, but we never got to see that wedding that was supposed to happen. But look how the network got for that.
Yep.
I would have loved to see the Urkel and Laura Winslow wedding. That would have been awesome.
Mm-hmm. And another... What?
Oh, sorry. No, you were saying.
Oh, no. You continue yours. I'll mention mine after.
What else could you say for another sitcom that had an unexpected and it never really got closure like it was supposed to? Married with Children. There you go. It's like at the end of season 11, it's like they never told them, oh yeah, you guys are coming back for season 12. Season 12 is going to be the final season. And then Ed O'Neill, Al Bundy, he was at a hardware store, and a newlywed couple came up to him and said, I'm sorry to hear about your show. Your show's been canceled. And he's like, what do you mean? We're not canceled. We're coming back for another season. And then a few hours later, he heard on the radio that the show got canceled. All the cast from Married with Children got blindsided. But they told they were coming back, and then they find out through various media outlets unexpectedly that they got canceled.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that happens. And one last example, and this actually goes for animation as well, is if you guys have ever heard of Duckman, Private Dick. If you guys don't remember that show, it was made by the same people who made Rugrats, fondly enough. But, however, they actually, in this particular case, they actually, like a Sat AM, they left it on a cliffhanger, and it was actually mainly due to the creators basically giving the middle finger to Nickelodeon at the time and saying, yeah, I dare you to try to not give us one more season. I dare you to cancel us. And sad to say that Nickelodeon, in this case, called their bluff and canceled them outright. Especially since it was one of the more riskier shows that Nickelodeon had in their lineup. But still, it was a very popular show that absolutely ran for a good amount of seasons before they finally had to get canceled, sadly. But unfortunately, yeah, when it comes down to it, some studios, if you get stuck with a studio that wants it done this way or that way, you know your show's going to get screwed in the end. Unless you have a studio that's willing to respect your decisions and let the series go the way you want it, then that's what happens. It's like how some series continue even though that like a book series isn't over yet. Like look at Full Metal Alchemist or Akame ga Kill. Those mangas haven't even finished yet when their series were still going. They weren't even done yet, and yet somehow they still decided to continue the series anyway.
They did that to Inuyasha.
Yep.
The books were still going. They hadn't finished, and they pretty much left it on a giant cliffhanger.
Yeah,
4
exactly.
years later, they brought Inuyasha back.
Yep.
So they could finish. They could finish off the books because the books just finished. They could finish it off as an anime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So basically, it shows that.
Or
what other example?
a good example you can also say, Lucifer.
Oh,
It got
yeah.
canceled by Fox, and then fans protested, and Netflix, being what it was, decided to save grace and bring it back.
Mm-hmm. And then, of
Well,
course,
there's what you got to do a review on. You got to do Lucifer.
I'll have to check it out when I can. I haven't watched the series yet.
Oh my god, it's amazing.
Another show, and then but basically those are examples of shows that sometimes do get revived and they do a fantastic job. Other times they're canceled outright and you never see what happens afterwards. And sadly, most of the time, about maybe 80 to 90% of the time, it's usually the fault of the studio. Because they're the ones that had to interrupt or basically try to interject and try to force what they wanted to happen into their shows, and it ends up ruining it in the end. So
That's a good example too. Full House. They were going to come back. They were going to get moved to CBS, do their final season, but the cast didn't like the direction that the new network was going to take the show, and they're like, "We're not doing it," and that's why Full House got its kind of cliffhanger for its final episode for cancellation.
That is until Fuller House came up, and from what I've heard.
Yeah, that took a long time, but and somewhat got closure for Fuller House, but
But
let's not go there for Full House or Fuller House.
Yeah. But yeah, basically that's the idea here, folks, that most of the time, if you're not with a good studio that's willing to let your creativity just absolutely expand and just actually show what you are really capable of, then you're going to be pretty much screwed by the time that they want to wrap things up, or whatever the case. They're more interested in ratings, not necessarily how the show would end. So, that's to answer your question, though. Alright, this next question is, what sitcom would you love to see be revived? Or continue? Ooh, that's a really tough one.
Well, obviously, it would be nice to see the Nanny in 2022.
That's true.
With all the technology and post-COVID, because I'm sure Broadway took a lot of hits because of that.
Unfortunately.
How would Maxwell adapt to the environment of what theater is now?
That's true. And unfortunately,
Another good
yeah.
one.
When COVID
Another
happened,
good one,
I don't
too.
know.
Yeah, come another one too that'd be good to see but I know it's coming back as a cartoon, but live action wise, I would have loved to see how Married with Children got their proper send off.
That would have been very nice if they did something like that, yeah.
How could you end the Bundy's life? Like, I know that each of the cast have said how they would have ended the show, but as a writer for the show, how would that have had a proper ending?
Very true, very true. It would be interesting to see how that would have turned out if the writer was given a chance to finally finish the season outright in season 12 and actually give it a good conclusion.
Another one. Well, this is back in the day for a show. The revival. Let's not go there, but Dynasty, the original, and all that.
Oh yeah,
It's
I remember Dynasty.
It's
Haven't
like
seen it in a
I know
while,
they rebooted it, but it's like it's not the same as the original cast. You wanted to see how that one would have got ended and all that. I know they did a reunion, but that reunion left more unanswered questions than the actual finale.
Yeah, that's
So it's
true.
Like, you don't want to go there. Even Charlie's Angels, the original Charlie's Angels, for example. It's like how they got canceled due to low ratings, but like it would have been interesting seeing them write out Jacqueline Smith as Kelly and whatnot. And
True.
see who could have took over for Jacqueline Smith. It's like,
I don't really know. Some of my favorites. Yeah, for me, some of my favorite series had the series finale happen, but at the same time, I don't think it would work very well in modern time. I think if anything, possibly Frasier mainly, and if they do manage to do the continuation, I'd be like hell yes. But yeah, in all honesty though, I really don't know. There's a lot of series that could work for like bringing the cast back and all that, but I don't know. If anything, it would mainly be Frasier, and that's really it.
I can't really see. I know they're rebooting Frasier, but at the same time, I can't see it really because it's not gonna be the same without the dad or Eddie and all that.
Well, yeah, of course, but that's what happens with age.
Right, because that dog and that old man, they made that show when they used to pick on him.
True. But yeah, it would be awesome to see all of our favorite characters from the original show back. What?
It'd be good to see if Niles and Daphne are still together.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were.
You would have to bring at least Roz back. You have to have someone pick on Frasier.
You gotta at least...
Female reason.
For me, I would say they have to bring back the entire cast. Except for, of course, those who unfortunately have passed on now. And if you are going to do an episode that is going to be dedicated to, like, Martin and all that, I definitely say go for it. Like bring him, at least do almost like a memoriam for him. I think that'd be pretty nice if they did something like that for the show, too.
Another good thing that'd be interesting as a revival, too, but this day and age, it would be interesting now. I guess you say the Golden Girls, somewhat. That would be an interesting modern day take.
No, I do not see that ever returning because, first of all, you can't replace any of the actresses that did those roles. And we just recently lost, I believe, the last one.
Yep, Betty White.
Yeah, Betty White was the last one of the group, and now that she's gone, I don't see that happening at all. It's pretty much done.
I know it's coming back as a revival, but at the same time, it's like, why are they bringing back Beavis and Butthead? As much as I love them, it's like trying to put them in 2022. Like they're more stuck in the 90s. That's their thing, not so much now.
Yeah, I don't see like if they did the animated series Sonic Sat AM again. If they brought that back, I would be totally up for it. Especially since they've been making a new cartoon series on Netflix, from what I heard, for Sonic, so that's going to be pretty interesting to see how that's going to turn out. Especially since this one's not going to be Sonic Boom, so yay for that one. But yeah, there's a lot of things that would be interesting for it. All right, here we go. Next question.
I know one show they shouldn't have revived. And it should have stayed dead.
Oh.
That's Sex and the City. Like, really? It's like, you had 2 movies and a good show. Why'd you bring it back? Like, really? Are we that desperate?
Yeah, apparently people are. Alright, here's the next question. Okay, so this is a really interesting one. And, I know that the Nanny got canceled, and unfortunately it is sad, but what show do you believe deserves to be revamped again? Like, actually bringing back the cast and everybody else as well.
Married with Children.
I'm actually willing to go with him on that one, yeah. That was a pretty easy one.
It's like, it's just something about the Bundys is like, you could relate more to, the Bundys were a family you could relate to more than, say, the Cosbys or whatnot. Like, no, there's no family that's perfect. Like, come on, get off your high horse.
Mm-hmm.
People are down to earth, working middle class jobs, miserable. They got a family that drags them down. Don't appreciate what they do. So you're just connected to them.
Yeah. Okay.
Those are for the Bundys. Most dysfunctional family sitcoms nowadays, like Family Guy, The Simpsons, American Dad, we wouldn't have.
True. Okay. Here we go. I know it's Pride Month, so I wanted to ask you guys this question: who is your favorite LGBTQ community character, which comes from TV, movie, cartoon, or video game? Ooh, that's a really tough one. Because there are actually quite a few that are written extremely well. What about you, PhoenixFire? Who would you pick?
Probably Sailor Moon.
Okay. So you're going the more anime route. All right. For me, and I know, I know some people. I know a lot of people actually. I hope would agree with me on this. Kanji Tatsumi from Persona 4. And the reason why is simple. First of all, his character development throughout the entire story is amazing. His story arc is one of the best I've ever seen when it comes to making a character that's not only relatable, but is in that time in his life that he does start to ask himself those questions. And his character arc feels so damn realistic to so many teenagers who've gone through the exact same thing he went through. So it's really awesome to see that his character arc was given so much respect in that regard. And for him to accept who he is. Because if you guys want to know, he's technically in the bisexual area. And honestly, hey, more power to him. And he's one of my favorite characters in Persona 4, and I still think he's one of the better ones that they've written in the last few decades, in my personal opinion for that. So, definitely on that one. Okay, and the next question is, who is the worst? Freaking damn it. Okay. PhoenixFire, I'll let you decide first. Who would you say
Worst
is the
LGBT?
Yeah, who is the worst in your personal opinion? And you can even describe what makes them bad and whatnot, because I'm very curious.
Oh, that's a good question. I think I'll think on that. Give me a minute here. I'll think. Okay, now that I've thought about it, I just have to say Andrew Van de Kamp from Desperate Housewives.
Okay, yeah, that's a bad one, yeah.
He was such a prissy, whiny bitch and all that, and it's like, okay, we get it. You're upset with your mom and her choices, but one, she's a grown up. It's her life. She's making the mistakes, not you. Two, okay, you finally came out of the closet. Why the hell are you still holding a grudge against her? That was like, it's all her fault. You went wrong. Like, really, dude? It's like, Can someone please give you a kick in the ass for being a bitch?
Alright.
So many times I want to rip my hair out because of him.
Okay. I never thought in a million years I'd ever have to talk about this guy, especially since I even swore I would never review this video game ever. But if we're gonna talk about it, I gotta talk about Enchanted Arms character fucking Makoto. That son of a bitch. Okay. First of all, if you guys know the gay stereotype for certain sitcoms like Yes, Will and Grace, that did that whole thing with Jack, think of Jack but a million times worse. And I mean absolutely insulting the LGBTQ community. I'm like, and yes, if you guys are wondering, this is the same company that made Dark Souls. wrap your head around that. But yeah, I swear to God, I remember when I first played this game years ago, and I wanted to absolutely go to the studio that made this character and literally wonder what in the hell is wrong with them. Because I have gay friends, and they are nothing close to what this guy is acting. He is not even realistic. This is basically what everyone thinks a gay character is. Back in the 90s, in the 80s. Not now, where they're just normal people. They've always been normal people. Why are you making them look like such idiots? And like I said, the only reason why I like Jack and Will and Grace is because he's made for comedy. That's what you expect. But the way they tried to write this character in this game is absolutely stupid. It's like, what is he supposed to be? Romantic interest? Comedy relief? What do you pick? Come on, just pick something, for freaking God's sake. Like, seriously, everything about this guy just... What?
Don't lead you on.
This guy literally makes me want to have a stroke for how much, every time I hear his voice, I want to rip my own hair out. I want to literally stab the character in the face multiple times just so we can stop talking. He makes me feel violent towards, well, that character every time I hear his voice, every time I literally see him in every scene. I want to literally kill him. I even one time during my playthrough, I actually went to his character and tried to murder him, but there was no button that allowed me to.
Damn.
Yeah, like I said, guys, it is... And for me, I'm fine with gay characters. Hell, like I mentioned with Kaji Tatsumi, he's an amazingly written character. He was one of my favorite LGBTQ community characters I've ever seen in media. But then you have that guy who just absolutely wants me to just murder him in every conceivable way. And make sure it's slow and painful for how much I hate him. And hell, they even try to give... I'm not even joking when I say they even try to give him a death scene and make his death matter or something, but I'm like, oh great, he's finally dead! That's what I kept thinking every time I watched that scene. I even had a save file specifically for every time I watched that scene after I'm done with the battle, just to watch him die over and over and over and over and over again.
I think we all have that one video game character we want to just like kill and crucify.
Yeah.
And burn.
Yeah. And do you want to know something that's even worse? You guys know how much I hate the Duck Hunt dog. I'm willing to deal with him if it means I don't have to see that little bitch again. Yeah, wrap your head around that. You all know how much I don't like Duck Hunt Dog. Anyone who uses him, I'm going after him first. But I'm willing to deal with his amount of bull than ever deal with that Makoto character again. Even all my gay friends say he was the worst insult to gay people in the history of video games. And that's saying a lot coming from my friends who are very tolerable for that. Hell, they even laugh at Jack for how crazy he is in Will and Grace, so you know these guys are pretty relaxed. If they are literally feeling insulted by this character, you know you did something wrong. So, yeah, for as much as I absolutely just, I can't believe I had to talk about that game. It literally boils my blood every time I have to talk about that stupid game, but I'm actually kind of glad I at least talked about this character because this character was a complete insult to the community as a whole, and I'm surprised that this game got surprisingly decent reviews. Have they not played the game? It's like, come on, people.
Maybe they didn't. They just watched YouTube and reviewed it off of that.
I don't know. For me, here's the thing. And trust me, guys, it's like I'm stating here. I'm never going to review the game because I know for full fact my score is going to be either somewhere between 0 and 10. That's how much I hate this game. But I know a lot of you guys have been asking me if I'm ever going to review the game, and I've been getting constant feedback and hell, you guys know me. I've done streaming for 2 years now. For 2 years, people. Actually, yeah, for 2 years. And I've had this business for 3 years. I consider it, this has been the best part of my job, is literally giving you guys amazing content and all that. And yes, I've even decided to watch some pretty bad movies or played some really bad video games to give you guys some good reviews. And yes, my opinion usually is changed. But the reason why I never wanted to review this game is because of just how much I absolutely hated it from the bottom of my heart in every ounce of the word. You know how Angry Video Game Nerd literally goes completely apeshit when he has to deal with a game he hates, especially from LGN? Think of what he's going through and just imagine it 10 times worse for me. That's how much I hate this game. However, since I've gotten so many requests to do this game review, I might just do it. Only for the fact that I will never have to review this game ever again. And you guys don't have to keep constantly asking me to review this game.
Well, then if people want you to review the game, tell them you want $100 in tips.
Yeah, seriously though. I'm going to need a large donation from you guys. From, I don't care if it's PayPal, bits, or on Twitch, or stars on Facebook. Or if you subscribe to my Patreon, or subscribe through the tier system, or through Amazon Prime on Twitch, or maybe in 2023 you can subscribe through Facebook and whatnot. Trust me, it's gonna take a lot of money before I ever decide to officially review this game. However, I have decided just for you guys, I am taking it out of the never gonna review pile and now put it on the possible review pile. However,
start sending in those $100 tips if you want it reviewed.
Exactly. You guys are, because trust me, I will. If you guys want to see me rage, if you want to see me lose my damn mind, if you want to see me suffer beyond any shadow of a doubt, then you will love this episode of me absolutely raging to the point where I want to absolutely murder a puppy. Though I never will. I never will. It's just, that's how my anger is sometimes. Especially towards this game. It is, I just don't like this game. But, because you guys have requested it, when the time comes, I will review this. And when I do, you will get some entertainment out of it, I can assure you. But you will also see my personal opinions.
Popcorn ready?
Huh?
I'll have popcorn ready that day.
Oh, dear God. But, yeah, trust me though. Trust me when I say this. You will enjoy the amount of suffering I'm about to go through for this review. I still can't believe this game was made by From Software and was actually published by Ubisoft. And trust me, if you think that Assassin's Creed Unity is a bad game, mainly because of its glitches, play Enchanted Arms, and trust me, you'll think that game is a masterpiece in comparison. And you want to know what's even worse?
Mm-hmm.
It was distributed by Square Enix.
Wow.
And apparently they are possibly thinking of reviving the game. Like, why? I really hope that doesn't happen, folks, because, good God, if I have to suffer again through Enchanted Arms one more time, I will lose my damn mind. Oh, and of course, thank you so much, Don. Thank you for the encouragement of, like, saying we don't enjoy your suffering. I wish most people would agree with you on that, but God bless it, they just love to see me rage. Okay, no more talking about Enchanted Arms. I'm done. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm about to lose my damn mind right now. Let's just go on to the next question, please. All right, here we go.
Better get to go to the bar.
I'm gonna need. See, I can't even talk right now. All right. Okay. Sorry, I just need to calm down there for a second. Okay, now we're officially ready for the next question. All right. When it comes down to certain video games, what video game, in your personal, I already mentioned this already with my particular suggestion. Let's go to the next one. Okay. Oh, here's a good one. When it comes down to your favorite character, who is the most hated character in the Nanny? Huh. I don't really think there were really any characters I really hated.
I could give an answer to that.
Really?
At the same time, it's a favorite character too.
Which one?
Cece. A lot of people hated her. The way she used to treat the kids, Niles, Moran. She just wanted Maxwell. It's like, she was so despicable and ruthless on how she was trying to get him. She wonders why he never paid any attention to her.
Okay, yeah, I can see where you're going at. Yeah, I would definitely understand that. I thought she was an okay character that was very funny, but
yeah,
I guess if you can see it that way, yeah, it's definitely very much hate.
But the way she was, that's what made it funny. Even though she was despicable, her failures is what made us laugh.
Very true.
Very true. It just made us. It made us enjoy Niles' remarks to her and her life. That made it all the better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely
technically Cece is the villainess in the whole series.
Villains you love to hate. Actually, that's where our next one comes into play. When it comes to sitcom villains, who is your personal favorite? Oh, jeez.
Oh, there's too. Oh my god. When it comes to sitcoms, oh my god, there's too many favorites I can say for me.
Yeah, same here. I really can't decide which one.
I got too big of a list. I can't name them all. I'm sorry.
If I'm gonna pick one just out of random, Will Wheaton from Big Bang Theory.
If I have to pick one, I'll start now for me, Peggy Bundy.
Okay, yeah.
She gets away with murder.
Very true.
Literally, she could get away with murder and no one would know it was her.
Okay.
And now I think of it, I thought of another one, Alex Russo.
Yep. Yeah, that's another good one. Okay. And this... Alright, actually, no, we still have enough time for two. Let's go for... Alright, here's one. Oh, okay. Which sitcom had the best theme song in your personal opinion? Freaking damn it.
Oh, man. Another hard one.
Yeah. God, I feel like I have a pulled muscle right here on my neck.
let's see, Golden Girls, Married with Children, again, Wizards of Waverly Place, Lizzie McGuire, Simpsons. The list is endless.
Okay, I already know for a fact a lot of people are going to wonder what the hell's wrong with me, especially since I am not a big fan of Full House. I thought it was an okay show. I wouldn't necessarily say it was one of my favorites, but God bless it, that theme song is too damn catchy. It's... ugh.
Another good one, too, Batman the Animated Series.
Sitcom, dude, not...
But some people did count it as a sitcom, like... I know
what? That is
There's
not a sitcom.
Some people I know, like, I don't know where they see it as a sitcom. I don't, but where they do, like...
Okay, seriously, well,
I
yeah,
think they all
good
need to scratch
freaking
up
excuse
their
to mention that one, but no, it's not a sitcom, and I'd like to slap your friends for it.
Right? It's like, when they say certain things like, you've been drinking, are you feeling okay?
Yeah, I'm like, good lord,
They make no sense.
Yeah, I'm like, good lord, it's not a situational comedy, it's a comic book show. And one that's damn good. I don't see really much comedy in there. And when they do comedy, it's mainly for the kids, but it's very few in between.
Exactly.
Like, good lord.
You know there's something wrong on the planet One.
Yeah, damn straight if people can't discern Batman animated series with a freaking sitcom. But yeah, overall though, for what it's worth, Full House had, in my personal opinion, the best theme song out of all of them.
If I pick my favorite sitcom, now that I think of it really, really, really hard, I'm going to say Three's Company.
Three's Company?
I'm going old school, way back in the day.
Actually, wait. Another one that had a good theme song was Living in Color.
Yes, that was a good one.
That was a very good theme song there too. But yeah, there was a lot of good ones. But yeah, those two definitely would be the ones would be the most recognizable to me. Let me think. What other shows do I know that's... Well, the Frasier had a great one, including Friends. But, yeah.
I guess you could say I Dream of Jeannie and Bewitched as well.
That's true.
Even though they didn't have to use words, but
oh yeah,
instrumental is just as important too.
Oh yeah. Freaking damn it! I also remember this one show that I think one of the actors was part of the Langoliers, I believe. But give me a second. Yeah, TV miniseries. Let's see, cast. Yeah, I'm trying to find.
I guess you also. I don't think you could call it a sitcom, but I guess you could also say some aspect. Monty Python.
Oh yeah, that one too. Yeah.
Are You Being Served? Keeping Up Appearances. Faulty Towers.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out where it is, but or who it is, I guess. Yeah, I don't know where he is in this. Yeah, I'll have to do more research on that, but there was this one show that actually had a really good theme song on that one too. I just don't remember the name.
Cheers?
No, it wasn't that.
I know that's one of the most popular sitcom themes.
That's true, yeah.
Always bring it up on their top 10.
That's true, yeah, but I'm trying to... Yeah, God bless it. I just don't remember the name of the show. It's God. That's gonna keep nagging at the back of my head for the rest of the day now.
You'll figure it out.
All right. All right. Hang on. I'm gonna. Here we go. Looking through the questions. Okay. Okay, this one's a pretty interesting one. Do you think that the Nanny would work as an animated series?
No.
You don't think so?
They did it. I know they did a Christmas episode where it was completely animated, but it didn't quite have that magic.
Yeah, I think some
Yes,
shows. Sorry. I think that some shows are just better off in just a live action and don't need a 2D remake at all.
Definitely agree on that.
Yeah, because I don't. It's almost like trying to make animated series into live action film, like or live action shows. Like I think Death Note did that already. Dragon Ball Evolution, if you guys know that one. Those are examples of ones that just absolutely flop trying to put the 2D into the real world.
A good example of that coming soon is the Powerpuff Girls. How they're doing that.
Yeah, I really don't know why they're doing that either. Hell, it was weird that they even did an anime on it. Why would you try to make it live action if you know the anime one failed? Well, actually, no, it actually surprisingly didn't fail. I don't know how it didn't. But, yeah.
Because the original Powerpuff Girls and the anime, that was decent, but then the reboot and...
Oh, God, the
now
reboot.
live action, should have left it back in the day.
Yeah, yeah, there are some shows you just leave alone. And honestly, for as much as I would like to see some of the... some shows could potentially work in animation, but... I don't know. I think in this particular case that when it comes to live action shows like sitcoms like The Nanny and all that, you're better off not just doing animation. You're better off just leaving it at that. It's not necessarily worth it.
Let's have a good memory.
Exactly. Now, if it was an animated show, getting the live action treatment, that really does depend on how it works. Like, there is the Christopher Robin movie that did pretty good, decently for... when it comes down to the Winnie the Pooh going in live action. Again, it was pretty decent. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't necessarily say it's something that fans really wanted. They wanted something more in the animation style. They didn't want the live action. So, it's almost like it's like all the remakes that Disney is doing. All of them are horrible. And there's a reason why. Because people are remembering the classic films that... And they always look back towards those ones rather than looking at the remakes. Mm-hmm. Like, alright, if we're gonna... And actually, that actually goes on to our next question. Do you think that remakes are necessary for TV shows? Well...
Yes and no.
Yes, yeah, exactly like him. Yes and no. And the reason why is actually very simple. Let's take a look at the Disney remakes, for example. As we all know, the Disney remakes have had a very shoddy reputation. And it pretty much started with Beauty and the Beast first. And...
Really? I thought it was Cinderella. Wasn't it Cinderella?
No. Beauty and the Beast, I believe, was the first Disney remake that they made from the original... Hold on, I'll double check.
That's what I'm doing too, way ahead of you.
Oh, wow, never mind. They just scrapped all the remakes, so they are no longer making remakes. Thank God. But yeah, actually, give me a second. I'm going to look up the list of remakes right now, actually. Here we go.
Here we go. The first live-action remake was 101 Dalmatians.
Oh, yeah. All right, yeah. All right, so we're going to go that far back. Okay. Yeah. And actually, that actually goes with his answer. Yes and no. The 101 Dalmatians remake actually was pretty good. Glenn Close did an amazing job as Cruella de Vil. There was a lot of amazing... They actually did a really good job with the remakes. So, yeah, it shows that remakes can work out to your advantage. But then we go on to... well, let's go on to the actual remakes that happened. If we're going to go by official ones that went downhill, then we got to start with Alice in Wonderland. That was, according to them, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, so it is that. All right, so Alice in Wonderland was the first movie to be officially remade by Disney that didn't do so well. It tanked. And yes, I know a lot of people love Tim Burton. The guy's a genius. When you give him like Batman or Nightmare Before Christmas, those are his masterpieces. Even I think that Corpse Bride is still a good movie. But they made it, well, how can I say this? They made it less insane than the original that was made in 1951. Alice in Wonderland is basically a book about a girl going into a world where nothing makes sense. Nothing at all. It's just wackiness here, wackiness there. Everything is just completely crazy. And that's the reason why so many people love this movie, the original movie. But then you go on to the remake, which tries to do this whole chosen one thing. And I'm like, why? Why would you do something like that? It is the absolute worst thing you could do. You're literally spitting in the face of those who created the original movie to begin with. Hell, you could have brought Alice in Wonderland back. The original actress who did her voice is still alive, and she still does the voice incredibly well. So, why not make an official sequel? I just don't see why. I don't know. I just think that with that first movie, they could have done so much, but instead they ruined it. Then let's take a look at Maleficent, for example. Maleficent was basically the remake of Sleeping Beauty that happened in 1959. Now here's the thing. I'm not opposed to having villains get their own story and, humanizing the villains. That's not always a bad thing. It's worked in video games. Like, look at Jack. For as much as we absolutely love to hate this guy, you also see where he came from, and you understand why he's a psychotic nutjob. So, yeah, I get that. And hell, he doesn't even lose any of his villainous tendencies. He's still a psychotic nutjob, and he is very much a crazy... Well, I'm not gonna say it, but you get what I mean, though. But then we get Sleeping Beauty that tries to... What?
No, I was gonna say, I got a good example when you're done.
Oh, okay. But yeah, then we take a look at Maleficent, for example. They basically made her an anti-hero, I guess? And...
They try to make her sympathetic.
Yeah. Here's the thing, folks. There's a reason why that no one liked the movie. And even wondered why the hell they made a sequel. Because you just destroyed one of the most iconic villains in Disney's library. She loves being evil. She decided to let all of her evil out when she was not even allowed to join a birthday party. Yeah, that just shows you how evil she is. And she enjoys it. So why, of all things, make her a relatable villain? It doesn't make any sense. It's why.
That's true.
We'll go on to PhoenixFire and go for his suggestion next.
Another good example is take a look at Doctor Who. It started as a successful, well, I guess you say reboot, remake, whatever choice of words you want to use, but look at that, use that as an example. Started off great, but as time went on, it's like more and more, it's like, why did this come back? Why are they trying to make it into something it's not, it shouldn't be? Like, come on, really?
Yeah.
It's like, especially this past season, not gonna lie, call this season Doctor Who flux. Like, I understand because of COVID restrictions, all that. Okay, fine, but then Lily just try to destroy the mythology and make so much of what Doctor Who once was. And it's like, you're really gonna try to take the series and make it that so people don't enjoy it anymore? Like, really?
Yeah. Alright. Next example is, if we're going to go down the remake route again, Cinderella. As you guys all know, the Cinderella classic pretty much set the standard for what Disney was able to accomplish for some of their animated films. But then we had the remake, and yeah, some critics gave it glowing praise. And for as much as I would agree on some of the critics, I don't agree with all of them. Mainly because of one reason. Like, and I'll even talk about the good things about the film. Yeah, I actually like that the prince gets a little bit more screen time. I think that's kind of awesome. I do miss the animals, of course, talking and all that, but again, I'm fine without that. It's totally fine. Making the fairy godmother a bit of more comedic, no. That was something I just couldn't accept, because in the original, she was more like a loving grandparent. So you know she's going to help her out and always be there to support her. She's that comforting grandmother you always can go to when things are pretty tough at home or whatnot. But then we get Cinderella herself. The woman that this movie is named after. And I swear to God, for all the critics saying that she's smart and independent, you are completely wrong. She is a complete and utter dumbass who has pretty much everything given to her. And not to mention when they do give her a breakdown scene, which actually I did watch the movie again, they did do it twice. Like, really? What the hell? That's like compounding one and then another and then like, why? It's like, why would you even try it twice? Especially when they're so close to each other. Now, if they were spread apart from each other, I'd be like, okay, this is you're starting to see her really starting to break down. But no, it's like happening one after another. Doesn't really make any sense. I don't know why you're trying that. And hell, in her particular case, if you guys did watch the movie, yes, I'm going to go with spoilers here, but yeah, the only reason why she ever escapes is by dumb luck. Seriously, she gave up and didn't even give a crap about trying to escape. And then all of a sudden, there it is. The animals decide to, hey, I'll just open this window for you so people can hear you. That is literally not being independent. She is completely dumb and literally gives up while also being completely saved by absolute freaking luck. I'm sorry. You completely ruined Cinderella for me in that case. And hell, I'm a guy. I'm not really used to fairy tales and all that. You know, prince saves a princess and all that crap. But when it comes to stories, if they're written well and the characters are good, I'm going to watch it. And hell, the original movie was so good. Why'd you change everything about her? Hell, even in the original, she didn't like where she was at. She did get angry. She did get furious. And hell, she did try to escape in a few of those scenes. And when it was her lowest moment, they stuck to it and held on to that moment for as long as they could until the fairy godmother showed up. And it was the only time she was ever broken down. So, yeah, and here's the thing. For everyone claiming that she's smart and independent, she really isn't. She was never written that way. And I know a lot of people are going to give me some flack, especially those critics who are going to absolutely give me flack for that, but I don't see her as the smart and independent woman that she was supposed to be in the remake. I saw her more in that in the original. Strange enough. But yeah, those are examples of movies that didn't do so well in the box office and pretty much proved that there's no real way in hell that anything was going to work out. But then we have remakes that do a decent job. And, of course, tell the story from a different angle. Beauty and the Beast, for example. That movie showed that it was possible to see it from a different angle, and I actually didn't mind that remake. It was actually pretty decent for what it was worth. Gotta give some credit. Dumbo. Yeah, okay, mainly. But hey, it was better than most. Aladdin. I'm surprised they didn't go full on Bollywood. Like, seriously, come on. Aladdin is so perfect for a Bollywood setting. Why would you just... I don't know. Like, PhoenixFire, wouldn't you like to see the music all done in a more Bollywood style?
It would have made sense, really.
Yeah, exactly. So why don't you do that? It just doesn't make any sense. And then, of course, we really got to talk about the three that I know for an absolute fact that were the most hated out of all of the Disney remakes. Mulan, The Lion King, actually, wait, no, I think it's just those two. I haven't heard anything so far of Cruella yet, so I can't necessarily make a discernment on that. But yeah, for the two I know of, Mulan and Lion King. Dear God, I have heard so much hate for these films. And I don't blame them. Like, let's take a look at Lion King, for example. First of all, they got rid of a lot of the original cast that made the original film great and amazing. One of the best films that Disney has ever managed to make. And yes, according to them, they were trying to make it culturally relevant. You're talking about animals here. Do you really need it to be that way? Now, when it comes to Aladdin, that's totally understandable. I'm completely fine with that because it lends some authenticity to the location they're in. And yes, for as much as I know a lot of people hate Mulan, I actually don't mind the cast they used for Mulan. They did a really good job of choosing some pretty decent actors and actresses for those roles, and I think they did a pretty decent job. But I swear to God, for The Lion King, fans didn't like it at all. They thought it was a complete insult to the original film. The look of the film was too realistic, for one. They could have been... And hell, I even watched YouTube films of people who reanimated that movie, and it looks very close to the original film while still being 3D. I'm like, well, why didn't you do that earlier?
They heavily promoted it too much, too.
Yeah, it's like, come on, guys. You could have done something with this. You could have kept the original look of the original look while still putting in the 3D setting. Why didn't you do that? Do you know how much people would be going to the theaters if they got to see that? I don't know. I just feel like they kind of ruined it because they just tried to make it culturally relevant. And I'm not opposed to it. I honestly think that it was pretty cool they brought back James Earl Jones. And good lord, you can't get a better voice for Mufasa than him. And if you did get someone else, that would be total blasphemy. But I honestly, and here's the thing, I don't think all of the elements of the film is bad. And yes, I will do eventually a review on this film in the future. But when it comes down to that film, some of the angles they went to, pretty interesting. You could definitely feel the resentment that Scar has and all that. You feel his insecurities. And I actually think that it feels like more of a Shakespearean villain in this case, more than the original. And I actually have to give some props to that. But the rest of the film, unfortunately, hits it in a way that destroys the original comedy of the film, especially with... And here's the thing. For as much as I do like Seth Rogen, I don't think he was really a good choice for this one. I think it's okay, personally. I just don't think it was that good at all. I think they pretty much destroyed what the original cast did for that original film. That's just me, though. And some of the actors and actresses did really good. Others didn't. Like I said, if I were to do a full-on review, I would be talking about this movie to death. But yeah, in this particular case, this is one of those movies that just did not do well, and I know a lot of critics didn't necessarily like this movie at all. It was one of the absolute worst. And then... And then they had Mulan. Wow, talk about basically Disney giving the middle finger to the audience, huh? Like, seriously, come on. Actually, PhoenixFire, have you ever seen Mulan, the remake?
No, but I know it's on Disney Plus, and I can watch it at any time whenever I'm ready.
Alright. Remember when I talked about the whole Chosen One angle from the film of Alice in Wonderland, the remake by Tim Burton?
Mm-hmm.
They did the same thing here with Mulan.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely stupid. And that was one big major change that fans didn't like. They liked that there was no Chosen One angle for the original film because it was about her overcoming her weaknesses and actually showing that she could be just as good as any of the men in the army. And of course, she was still doing the right thing by protecting her nation and protecting her people, while honoring her family in her own way. And then, of course, the one big controversy that I know everyone hated about this film. They got rid of "I'll Make a Man Out of You." As in, they got rid of the song altogether. I'm like, you know that movie isn't just about men. Sorry, the song isn't just about men, right? It is literally about overcoming your weaknesses and choosing to stand up for yourself. Overcome your weaknesses to achieve what you want to achieve. And here's the thing. I know a lot of girls who love this song. And actually, here's a funny story. I was in college at one point, and I was right after my class, and I decided to play "I'll Make a Man Out of You," and I heard every man and woman in that rec room start singing the song as soon as it started. You don't get rid of one of Disney's most popular songs of all time just because you want to be so woke. And I know a lot of people are saying this like basically it's the industry going woke. I'm like, there's a right and wrong way to do it, and this is wrong. Because, like I stated before, the song's about empowerment. It isn't just about you being a man. It's about empowerment. Just to go for your dreams and just try to keep pushing forward. Mm-hmm. So, why get rid of one of the most inspirational as well as one of the most kick-ass songs of all time for that? So you see where I'm coming from when it comes to remakes and when it comes at how they could be good or bad. Sometimes they can be good, like what he mentioned, 101 Dalmatians. It shows that a remake can be good. But, of course, the movies like I suggested, like Lion King and Mulan, are examples of films that are remakes that do it bad. Sometimes a show can do a remake just as well. Will and Grace did a remake, it didn't do so well. Sad to say. And, of course, and unfortunately, with track records with remakes and all that, I don't know. I don't think it would be a good idea to remake the Nanny in all cases, personally. It could work, don't get me wrong. I'm just hoping that the studio doesn't get themselves fully involved like they did last time. That would be the only way to fix it, personally. Alright, and you know what? We'll do one more question. This one's for you, buddy.
Okay.
Alright. Okay, here we go. If you were to choose a particular series to be... What's... Actually, hold on. I have to read that again. Okay, what TV show would you like to see in Broadway?
Oh man, that'd be a good one. If I were to actually pick one, I'm going to kick it old school. I'd like to see maybe the Brady Bunch.
Ooh, okay. Why's that?
Because if you think of it, they had so many different storylines and things in episodes. Because look at the Brady Bunch movie. They took some of the most iconic episodes and brought it into the 90s for the next generation to become fans of the Brady's.
That's
so
good.
I can kind of see them doing the same thing for Broadway.
Okay.
Take a couple iconic episodes of the show and then work it into a Broadway show.
Well, that'd be pretty cool.
And speaking of the Brady Bunch, I think I know what I'm going to be watching later.
Ah. Okay.
I gotta see Marsha getting hit in the nose with football.
Ah. Alright, we have one more. Did the Brady Bunch or any of your favorite sitcoms ever have video games based on them? Oh dear God.
I don't think they had a Brady Bunch video game or whatnot.
No, I don't think the Brady Bunch. I
know they had a Married with Children board game. I'm being a fan of the Bundys. I know they had a board game about the Bundys.
Yeah.
And I know Full House had a few board games.
Oh, Full House did have a tournament fighter. I'm not joking. Hold on, I gotta look up the title because I swear to God, I do remember them having a Full House tournament fighter.
You sure that wasn't a parody? That sounds like a parody.
Nope,
game.
it is an actual video game made in 1993 called Full House.
Wow. Yeah.
And it is a tournament fighter. Wow.
That'll be something to look into.
Huh?
That'll be something to look into later.
Yep, and apparently it was also published by LJN. Son of a bitch. Damn it. Ugh. Oh, damn it. Okay. But yeah, basically, apparently that, yes, Full House did have a video game, and yes, it's a tournament fighter. Talk about possibly one of the weirdest things I've ever had to see, and if I ever do find that game, I will try to play it for you guys, because even I'm getting curious. Like, good lord.
I'm looking at it, YouTube videos right now.
How is it?
To me, it looks like something out of a parody.
Oh,
it does
no.
not look legit. It looks fake.
Oh, dear. It does look fake? Oh, no.
Yeah.
And yet somehow it was actually officially released. Like, good lord.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm now very freaking curious.
It does not look at all legit.
Alright, let's take a look.
I do give credit, though.
Oh my god, it exists. What in the actual hell am I looking at?
I'm sorry, that's scary.
What in the actual hell is going on? And AVGN actually reviewed this. Oh wait, no, this is gameplay footage. So he actually played this. Like, what? What in the heck is going on? What is this? And does he even finish him? What? What's going on here? That is... Okay, what? I'm extremely confused. Oh, God. Okay. Well, that's one hell of a weird way to end it on, huh?
You know, something's wrong in the state of Denver. You see that?
Mm-hmm. That is... I'm sorry, but that was possibly the weirdest thing I've ever had to see. Wow. Okay, so... I guess this is where we're ending it on. Possibly one of the weirdest ways to end on a question that, yeah, apparently that Full House did have a video game. I just didn't even... I thought it was more fake stuff, but... Nope, this is real. So, I hope you all enjoyed this strange but interesting review, not only on the Nanny seasons 1 through 3, but also... Well, to also basically say that we got to answer some really interesting questions. If you guys like what we do, please follow us on Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe to us on our YouTube channel, Mr. Retroactive Live Streams. And don't forget to like and share these videos. It'd be awesome to spread the word about this channel and let people know about the channel and all that. And hopefully we can try to get ourselves up to 1,000 followers on Twitch, hopefully, or maybe get 100 subscribers on YouTube. That'd be amazing if we could get that far. We're really close. It's going to be really insane. But yeah, as I mentioned before, with the subscriptions and donations, you guys could do those if you want to help support the channel. Anyway, it's totally your guys' choice, though. Tomorrow, we'll be continuing our regularly scheduled programming with Sports Sunday. And yes, I wanted to make this up to you guys since we completely missed the game throughout the entire month of entire Star Wars month. We're playing Pod Racer for Sunday. That one I am going to make sure of. We are going to play it, and we are going to make sure we're going to play it. Damn it. So we are going to be playing Pod Racer tomorrow. Then on Monday, we're going to be playing Super Mario Sunshine on 3D All-Stars. And finally, we have, of course, and yes, I am going to try to 100% complete that game. That's my newest goal. And of course, on Tuesday, we're going to be completing the rest of Lego Star Wars, the complete saga. And if we do finish mine early, we're going to go and help out PhoenixFire with his. So, do you have any final words to say before we sign out?
Nope, I think I'm good.
Alright, until then, I hope you all have an amazing day. I will see you all next time. This is Mr. Retroactive signing out. Have a great day, everybody.